Crypto is on the rise, making that dough in the crypto paradigm. Watching it grow, buying low, selling high. Riding the wave, I'm here to stay, living in the digital age. No banks, no fees, just decentralized. It's crypto paradise. Ooh. No banks, no fees.
All righty. Good morning from paradise, my surf family. We are back, another daily live stream. Apologies for missing yesterday. I was traveling en route to the Paradise Pad where I am presently sitting on the rooftop bringing you this live stream from actual paradise. Couldn't be more excited to be here. What's going on, gentlemen? We got a lot to cover today. Kanye just launched a coin. Of course it's bundled. Of course it's scammy insiders dumping on everybody's heads. So we'll cover that. Bitcoin, Ethereum updates. We got some altcoins to cover for you guys as always. But how you guys doing this morning? Nick, you're going to be joining me in a couple days. You getting excited now you see me up here on the roof?
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to get there, but always when you're leaving town, you got to make sure to get a lot of stuff together, get everything done here at home, get people to watch the dogs, and then we'll get there and we'll record some content. We'll do some scouting for the retreat happening later this year, and hopefully you enjoy it. Last time, all three of us went down there, and people still talk about, hey, didn't you guys do a bunch of content down at the beach? So I think it's really on brand. We always do good stuff there, low stress, maybe a couple drinks to allow us to have a little more fun as well.
Just a couple.
Just a couple, yeah, just a couple. But yeah, super pumped to be here. Just a reminder to everybody, you guys can win free nights to Paradise. Free stay at the Paradise Pad, the 2-bedroom, 2-bath condo that's just a couple floors down from where I'm sitting right now. If you're in the Paradise, Crypto Paradise DAO, you hold 200,000 surf tokens. You get 3 free nights, and if we're feeling generous, why not 5? Why not 7? Come down, stay as long as you want. Bring your wife, bring your girlfriend, bring your kids. It's a great time. So we're the only channel doing that. I'll tell you that much. So take advantage, get in the surf DAO, and there's plenty to enjoy.
We've had at least one surf community member take you up on that so far. So it's not something we're not just blowing smoke here. It's actually available.
For sure, yeah. A guy named Kenny. He's in the Crypto Paradise community. He found out about this, free nights giveaway for anyone who's engaged and active. This was before we had launched the surf token. But yeah, he came down, stayed for 3-4 nights. He did a little content about it too. So yeah, it's absolutely real. Flying in and out of Tulum is easy now. If you're obviously you got to be on the Western Hemisphere to make it reasonable. Otherwise, that's a kind of a long trek if you're in Nate's end of the world. But yeah. Few hour flight, you're down here, 30-minute drive. You're chilling on the beach, so it's just a wonderful thing.
Yeah, we had a blast in there. It's beautiful. When we were even there during rainy season, we still had a great time. So I can't recommend it highly enough.
Yeah, man. So what's good with the markets? I haven't really checked much. I've just kind of been on vacation mode, but I did see Kanye launch his coin yesterday. So another bundled piece of shit, or is it actually something that we think has legs here and could pull another Trump maybe?
Well, I'll pull the chart up. I guess we'll start with it. But, I mean, we've been avoiding these. I mean, Trump, at least, you had multiple hours and multiple days of gains to be had. And, it still held a really high level for this YZY token by Kanye. Literally, if you didn't buy in the first 5 minutes, you are currently down on the investment. And even if you bought in the first 5 minutes, the cheapest you could have possibly got in was 22 cents. So we know this first candle, you eat slippage and you eat fees. Currently, it's just at $1. After 5 minutes, it was already up to $1. So you'd be break even. And even if you got in somewhere around here in the dollar, you only had 20 minutes or 30 minutes of green candles before the dump occurred. So one of the shortest lived celebrity meme coins out there. It only hit, $3, which would be a 3 billion fully diluted market cap. But there isn't even very many tokens in circulation. Right now at $1, it's sitting at $130 million market cap. Pretty much a failure for Kanye. There was a lot of rumors of this going to be happening months ago after the Trump one, but then you had, the Trump and then the Lira and all these other failures. So he kind of waited, and he's trying to do it now. But this is what happens. Solana proves once again, Jeets everywhere. Very little, only 10% of these tokens are even in circulating supply, and it still can't really hold the floor. I guess I'd be excited at $130 million market cap, but for people who were chasing this. I mean, I even saw Arthur Hayes posting about it up here near the highs. He's already down 50% on his investment if he hasn't cashed out yet.
Yeah, I saw him follow up on those posts as well, saying, "Why didn't you guys tell me that? I should know better than to. Basically, I should know better than to get involved with these kind of things." Which, yes, he should. But guy's a loose cannon. Likes to take some shots from time to time.
All these things really do is pull liquidity out of the market. Think of how much money was in chasing this and how many people are already down on that investment. So it's sucking Solana out of the market. It's sucking liquidity from some of your other meme coins. If you see kind of a sharp, quick sell-off in some of your other Solana meme coins, it's probably people seeing Kanye's tweet, panic selling those meme coins or utility projects on Solana and trying to chase YZY to try to make a quick buck, and now they're down on that. So that's how this cycle goes. I'm not a fan of this. Does it rally again off this base? Maybe. I'm sure it could, but it's not really something that I want to play around with my funds. I don't know about you guys.
No, I never invest in these celebrity meme coins. The upside's relatively minimal unless you get in super early, which is nearly impossible because you're not going to find out about it first. And then it's just insiders dumping on your heads for forever, basically. So very low upside, very high risk for dumpage and getting whales to sell on you. I'm curious what legal fallout there may be from some of these. This is like insider trading 101, right? So, I mean, to me, this is going to result in a lawsuit against Kanye and perhaps the creators of this coin, the Web3 insiders who are behind it.
We've been saying that about all the other celebrity coins, and none of them have, except for Libra. That one dude with the glasses got hit because he was actually doing insider trading on that, and nobody else really knew about it. So I will say that the token economics have it that like 70% of the tokens have vesting, and they're going to the team and they're going to Kanye. So they may not have done the insider trading because they have so many tokens coming down the future as well. That's why only like 10% of the supply is circulating.
Libra's making headlines again. All their funds got unfrozen. The case against that guy, I can't remember his name, is pretty much dropped, and all the funds are unfrozen that were being held. That was kind of a news story here. Libra funds unfrozen. Mika and Vape Cabal crash out. Kanye drops a coin all within 24 hours. Surely a coincidence, right? And then you have another post here by Cook Capital, who we've highlighted a few times on here. Great follow. This is the story of these big celebrity meme coins. They're botted, they're pre-farmed, and the only people that are going to make money are the people that are in the cabal behind the scene launching this thing. Sold 1.4 million, 1 million, 1 million, 800K, 600K, and so on and so forth. P&L, exactly that. Here's their buys.
Right. Didn't even buy any tokens.
These are pre-farmed, pre-distributed before. The team tokens, cabal tokens, whatever. So, guys, like, hopefully if you're watching this channel long enough, you understand, like, stay away from these things. These are you're just playing with fire here. There's plenty of other great options out there if you want to do the meme game. If you want to do meme game on Solana, there's been some great Solana memes in the last couple weeks. A channel, I'll give him a quick shout out. He's made me a few shekels here recently with his meme calls. He's got a private channel on Telegram as well. JXBT's called a bunch here in the last couple of weeks with what's some of the recent ones. GIF was a big one that he hit with. Tabaku was a big one. Gorillions did well. He's had some bangers in the last week. So, there are guys out there that are doing it right. He made a post here, stay away from the celebrity coins, right? He called it out immediately. He said, hey, stay away from this. I hope if you're doing the meme coins, you're smart enough to know better than do this. But anyway, shout out JXBT. There are good memes out there to be had, but these celebrity coins are not the way to go.
Absolutely not. Yeah, Jay's a good dude. We know Jay. I mean, he's in the trenches 24/7, but he's a transparent, honest guy. So that's if you want to follow someone who's like deep in the Solana meme trenches, I think that's a great example. But yeah, stay away from these celebrity coins. To me, it's a recipe for disaster if you're retail. And I do believe there will be lawsuits arising out of this. You may not hear about them quite as much, but they do happen in the background, class action lawsuits, things of that nature. The federal authorities may not come down on anyone, but there will be civil cases, no doubt, against folks who lost money, because that's what always happens here for celebrity. If you cause someone to lose money in the financial markets, they'll come after you. Not that Kanye carries is worth like $400 million, maybe more now after the launch of this. But in any event, stay away, and that's all we can say. It's a piece of garbage. What else we got going on?
Let's take a look at the Ethereum charts. Of course, we came right down to the support level. It got down just to like $4,057. We're on here talking about 3,900 as major support, and Thomas Lee being on saying 4,100 as major support. So that gets you a nice range. We went to $4,050. Bounced off it and got rejected at the 43.50, the original target that we had, and now we are seeing where we want to go. Obviously, you would like this to stay higher than the 4,050 level and continue to work up into the right. I know that the stock futures are red today, so what catalyst could drive Ethereum to start running away? Well, it would be Ethereum strategic reserves. I'm also seeing that there is a rumor that the United States government may also add Ethereum strategic reserve to its books outside of just the Bitcoin strategic reserve. Now, those are just rumors, just hypotheticals. There is hundreds of thousands of dollars of Ethereum that was just sent to the federal government wallet. What will they do with those? Hopefully, maybe an Ethereum strategic reserve, or if you're more of a Bitcoin maxi, you can root for, hey, they said they can't buy more Bitcoin, but if they confiscate Ethereum or other assets, they can swap that for Bitcoin to increase the Bitcoin strategic reserve. So keep an eye on those wallets. Stay tuned on our newsfeed, and we'll see what happens with that Ethereum that the U.S. government now has in their possession. Let's look at Bitcoin dominance real quick, and then we'll get on to the next thing. What do you know? Bitcoin dominance still 59.5%. This was yet another bear flag that looks like it is on the cusp of breaking down. If that happens, that would probably lead me to believe that Ethereum is at new all-time highs, Bitcoin is languishing, and some altcoins are finally catching some green candles.
I think the catalyst that we're all looking for is Powell's speech today at the Jackson Hole Symposium, which happens every year around this time. And last year, when he went out and did his little speech, that was right before they decided to cut rates in September. And so whether he comes out today hawkish or dovish, that is really going to move the markets one way or another. So I think a lot of people are kind of waiting with bated breath. That's the big thing. Like, is the Fed going to cut rates? Betting market says yes, but Powell's been known to throw his curveball. So I think everyone's kind of just on edge, and the market's like waiting for some directional signal there, whether to go long or to go short, depending on what Powell says and does.
Yeah, I saw you made some statements. I believe it would have been last night, this morning, my time, last night, your guys' time, pretty bearish. Coming into this meeting at Jackson Hole, where all the lizard people get together every couple of months and decide the fate of the world's economy. But yeah, I think he's going to come out and be very very bearish for the markets. I wouldn't, whether or not he follows through with it, I wouldn't doubt if he came out and was going to continue to be very bearish even on rate cuts in September. And then maybe they surprise us with one. But with that hot PPI number that came out, he's going to use that as any excuse he can to continue to hold things off here.
That would be disastrous. If they do not cut rates here in September, we are going much, much lower. Because yes, we do have a little bit higher than expected or higher than we want to inflation, but just barely. I mean, we're not running at like 6%. We're running like 2.6%. So we're just slightly above the Fed target. And then on the flip side, the jobs reports have been abysmal. The economy is not doing great. So, I mean, the Fed, and that's due mostly, I think, in part because the Fed rates have been way too high for too long. So, I think, he's between a rock and a hard place. But if you look at the balance of interest there, labor market versus inflation, I think the labor market is in a worse place than inflation is. And so they got to just cut the rates. Remember, you did have two Fed governors in the last meeting dissenting, and they already wanted to cut rates. So, you have people already there who previously voted for a rate cut. How many more are going to come across the line? So, look, Powell's going to come out today. I don't think he's going to show his hand. We'll obviously be reading tea leaves and trying to parse exactly what he says. What does it all mean? What does it all mean? I think he's going to be, very diplomatic and political about it, and not really give away too much what they are looking to do here on this decision and throughout the remainder of the year. I think he's just going to say, data dependent. We're going to look at the data. And then he's just going to say that 100 different ways. And then we'll be left guessing, is they going to cut rates in September? But I think they will. I'm still holding out hope that they do end up cutting rates here because, damn, they really need to. And if they don't, the market's going to crash. So let's not let's hope that doesn't happen.
Yeah, Polymarket has them still forecasting a rate cut. And you saw before Nate pulled the screen up here, Truflation inflation is at 2.09%. A week ago was 1.99%. A month ago was 2.05%, and a year ago was 1.94%. So if you have a target of 2%, it doesn't get more consistent than that on every single time horizon. You're somewhere between 1.94 to 2.09% inflation rate.
By the way, shout out to our listeners and our viewers. We got Moon Mutt here, Martin's here. We got the Wyckoff crew here. I think that might be Todd. Let's get him down to Loom here at the end of the year for the retreat. But yeah, shout out to all you guys, and yeah, definitely Nate, if you can throw those up on the jumbotron like you did, that'd be awesome. But what were you gonna say there, bud?
Oh, I forgot about the helm here today.
Yeah, you're at the helm, buddy. You gotta be on it.
Latest Polymarket numbers here. You can see this is for throughout the rest of this year here. But Polymarket right now, betting rates 11% for no Fed rate cuts in 2025, 22% betting on one rate cut, 41% for two, 19 for three, 5 for four, and then you got a few people that are saying 5 rate cuts yet this year. So starting to get some decent volume on that. But Goldman Sachs forecasting 325 base point cuts in 2025 yet. If they're going to do that, they got to get started here in September. I think there's only 3, maybe 4 meetings left in 2025. The first of which being in September. So Reuters poll: most economists expect September cut, and then one more for a total of 2. CME Fed Watch: 89 to 95% odds for a 25% basis cut in September. So yeah, definitely still markets betting on a rate cut here. And what do we always say? What really moves the markets? It's not so much the actual news; it's when unexpected things happen. So if we have coming in 80-90% expect a rate cut September, certainly the markets are going to move up on that. But we're not going to probably see anything too parabolic. Now, if we come in and they don't cut rates when you have 89% expecting, that's where you're going to see fireworks. That's where you're going to see some crazy volatility in September here. So let's
we can have a jumbo cut. Let's not be too bearish. They could come in with a 50 basis point jumbo cut. They did it last September. I don't think that's going to happen. My guess is we do get the 25 basis point cut, and my guess is he basically says we don't know if we're going to cut rates anymore this year. We're going to look at the data, and that's going to tell us what to do. So I don't know if we're going to get in the 3, the 2, or even just the 1. It's going to be data dependent. But remember, Powell gets replaced in May of next year. And so if you're, feeling some way about Powell, as I certainly do, just know his term is coming to an end, and Trump is almost guaranteed, I would say, or let's just say guaranteed, to elect someone who is going to be very, very dovish, because that sort of aligns with his whole vision for the economy and wanting to refinance the federal debt and so on and so forth. So we're going to get a dovish Fed chair in May at the latest of next year. So I know that feels probably like an eternity for a lot of you crypto degens, but trust me, as an old guy, it happens in the blink of an eye. And so by May of next year, we're going to be in a very, very different place, regardless what happens next week. Or this week, I should say.
What do we got on the live stream going here right now? Let's give a quick shout out. 125 people already tuned in, less than 20 minutes in. Guys, these things are growing each and every day. Shout out to the Crypto Paradise fam, making this all possible, sharing things with their audience, coming in, commenting on the live streams. We got more and more people turning in on YouTube. We're gonna eventually figure out how you can comment directly from Twitter, from X here. But for now, if you want to get live comments in, you got to put them in on YouTube. But if you want to just post them comments here in the post, we'll answer those to our best of our ability as well. But again, shout out 125 people already tuning in here. Let's keep pumping them numbers.
Absolutely. What other stories we got for today?
Yeah, do you have any other news stories, or what are we looking at here? We kind of already went over the Ethereum chart. We didn't go over the Bitcoin chart too much, but I mean, nothing really has changed on Bitcoin. It's still floundering in the same level, and you kind of want to hold that 112,500 level. I think some feedback on your computer, CryptoArmor, a little bit of an echo there.
Oh, weird. Okay, how's it now?
Better.
Okay, I think, look, here's the big picture story that it's sort of in the back of everybody's mind. Was 124,000 the top, and are we now, like, is the bull market over? And to me, the answer is an unequivocal no. We never had the parabolic blow off top. We never had retail caring about Bitcoin and Ethereum and crypto. We never had your barber talking to you about it in the taxi cab driver. It's been basically Wall Street and OGs here, in the market for the past 4 years. We haven't really had any retail. So to me, this is just your kind of summer doldrums, people waiting on the direction from the Fed, comments from Powell, and we're going to be fine come October, November, December, and then I guess then the question becomes, does any bull run that happened persist into 2026? But that's like, I don't know. I think that's really the thing that everyone's thinking about. But again, it's not over, guys. It ain't over.
Yeah, I think it's kind of the poignancy of this post here. You're telling me 124,000 was the top? There's a number of different bull market indicators out there that various TA people use, all different strategies people try to time the top. But this is taking a look at the top 30 probably most popular bull market peak indicators. Some of these are pretty familiar with. The Pi Cycle top indicator, very popular. The Puell multiple, the Bitcoin Rainbow chart. I'm not familiar with this number one up here, but out of the top 30 indicators that people use this time in the markets here, none of them, 0 of 30, have fired off, indicating that we have hit a top there yet. So, we like to say, hey, when everybody's looking left, look right in this market. When everybody thinks one thing's going to happen, the other thing's probably going to happen. I don't think that's the case here, where everybody's seeing we got 0 of 30 of these indicators firing off. I think we got a long ways to go yet in this bull cycle.
Yeah, I just think there's too much institutional demand, too much governmental demand. Remember, there's a couple states that approved Bitcoin strategic reserves recently. There's a echo whenever we're talking, Crypto Room. And they haven't had a chance to really deploy those funds, whether it's pension plans, whether it's the retirement markets, whether it's these government entities. They haven't deployed the funds into Bitcoin just yet, and that's going to drive Bitcoin much higher. You also see what's his face, Brian Armstrong from Coinbase, saying $1 million Bitcoin by the end of 2030. Obviously, he's shilling his own bag, but I think we have higher to go in this bull market. I think it leads into 2026. Then we get a little bit of a sideways bear. Probably not an 85% drop, probably only a 40 or 50% drop, and then hopefully by that 2030 cycle we do hit that $1 million Bitcoin mark. What do you guys think Ethereum would be if Bitcoin gets to $1 million? What do you think BNB, Solana, or some of these others will be if Bitcoin gets to $1 million? And by the way, BNB just hit a new all-time high yesterday. Very few channels talk about it. I try to shove it in there every once in a while. We try to look at the chart every once in a while and talk about how there's Floki and some other assets on the BSC chain. New all-time high for BNB yesterday while everything else kind of languished. Pretty wild.
Gotta love BNB, gotta love CZ. Holding 60% of the supply, Diamond handing it, burning billions every quarter, causing it to be the, looks like the third most valuable, or what's the fifth most valuable asset in all of crypto here. So, yeah, BNB is kind of slept on, isn't it? People don't really talk about it much. I haven't seen a ton of new projects launching on BNB chain, although I'm sure that they are every single day. Haven't really seen CZ bull posting about it recently either. So, but yeah, I just think amazing token economics, amazing business behind it. A lot of token burns have gone over the past, 6-7 years. It's been live. Obviously, the chain is still active. People building over there. Yeah, shout out to BNB, man. I hold some. I bought some the other day. I was like, this thing is going much higher, and I'm certainly glad I did.
Yeah, CZ Bull posted about it yesterday, kind of, celebrating the all-time high, and I replied to him, man, BNB needs to find its way into the headlines more often. This performance is amazing with what seems very little people talking about it, and he did a quote tweet of that. It's crazy the power of these people who have that many followers. He just did a simple quote tweet of my reply to him. It had 276,000 views in the first day, so pretty wild. CZ's out here. CZ's active. He went to prison for crypto. He paid his dues to the SEC, and apparently he is free to go, doing his thing with like the children cartoon in the children's book, but leaning into BNB, leaning into Bitcoin and crypto a little more now that the market's a little more bullish.
One of your tweets got 200-something thousand views. Is that right?
Yeah, just from a quote tweet from CZ.
Oh, that's fucking amazing.
Wild.
Did you get a bunch of new followers from that, or no?
Not really. A handful, a couple hundred maybe.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Pretty wild, though. But
yeah.
CZ getting active. CZ in the for a dude who's worth billions, he just still stays in the trenches. But I guess the thing is, if we were ever worth billions, maybe you're on the beach, you can definitely do quote tweets from the beach. You know what I mean?
Look, I think he just loves crypto. He loves this industry. He's a true, evangelist and believer in this asset class. And so he's, even he could be the richest man in crypto, which I believe that he is. And he's still out here bull posting in the trenches with us. So shout out to CZ, man. Fucking epic, and great work on getting that quote tweet from him. It's unreal.
We've been talking about how it's going to teleport to 1,000, and it wicked out to that $890 per token yesterday, while the rest of the market didn't do much. So, I mean, if you think that Bitcoin doubles and you think Ethereum does a 5x, then of course Binance has to be over 1,000 a token, but probably does the same, similar 2 to 5x from these levels, and continues to be a household name for many cycles to come. Pretty wild. Congrats on them, and hopefully Pulse Chain is the next one. BNB and Binance Coin started very similar to how Richard Hart and Pulse Chain started. Half the people hate it, half the people love it. Half the people hate Richard Hart, half the people hated CZ, called him a scammer, called Binance a scam, you're going to lose all your money, blah, blah, blah. And here we are 6-8 years later, and BNB has gone from less than $1 to $900, new all-time highs.
Hell yeah. I'm loving it. And by the way, shout out to also Brian Armstrong. Bull posting about the $1 million Bitcoin. I think we've been talking about that. We've been on record talking about $1 million Bitcoin. A lot of people have. I don't think it happens in 5 years, because did he say by 2030? So that'd be 5 years. I think 10 years. I think it's going to take 10 years. It's going to take 2 more halvings for that to happen. But definitely $1 million Bitcoin is in our futures, but you got to hold. You got to hold if you want to see those gains. This guy held for 7 years. Good for him. But now he's moving his millions into Ethereum. Kind of a cool story here.
Yeah, I think we're going to continue to see this is typically what happens in the bull markets when as Bitcoin starts to peak, this when dominance comes down, and that's where you see money flowing into BNB, into Ethereum, and hopefully soon into Pulse Chain, pumping not only Surf but all of our partner projects over there. Natural progression of the cycle, Bitcoin into Ethereum, into blue chips, into large caps, mid caps, and micro caps. And we've only seen the first kind of like 2 to 3 steps of that happen. We've seen Bitcoin pump, we've seen Ethereum catch a little bit of that, and in many cases this cycle it skipped Ethereum and went right to blue chips, right? Like Ethereum until the last 2 months was absolutely just dormant. And we saw some of the blue chips like BNB, like Chainlink, like AVAX, and some of the Solana, some of the other big top blue chip coins have pumped where Ethereum was stagnant. So again, a little shake up in terms of the cycle dynamics, not just the 4-year cycle itself, but how the interim kind of blueprint that we've had, and made it, I don't want to say easy to make money, but at least they had a guide to follow where you went, Bitcoin, Ethereum, blue chips, and so on, and repeat throughout the cycle. Well, again, we're seeing that get shaken up. We're seeing it skip Ethereum and go to some of the blue chips. We've seen it skip all of those and go to like a niche bull market within, where just AI pumped, or where just BRC20 coins pumped, or just meme coins pumped, and Ethereum and the blue chips completely missed out. So again, we're seeing new dynamics emerge.
Well, I think that's because we weren't yet in that phase of the market where Bitcoin had sufficiently run, and then it started to flow cycle down. Those pumps that you mentioned, with respect to specific sectors, that happened just kind of within, the early phases of the Bitcoin bull, when it was slowly grinding up and no one was really convicted about it. No one really thought there was a bull market happening, but it was. And you saw those little, niche narratives pop off. We haven't gotten to the point where it's run up sufficiently to have that kind of true cycle down, although I think we're getting there. I mean, the fact of the matter is Ethereum did just pump from like $1,600, wherever it bottomed out at a few months ago, to, 46 or 4,700, whatever it got. So, I mean, Ethereum has gone, and now it's consolidating a bit, but I think it's going to run again. So, that cycle, I don't think it's been invalidated, kind of the, moving down the asset class towards lower and lower market caps. It just, we haven't reached that phase yet where Bitcoin had run enough for that to actually occur.
Yeah, we see Ethereum still down 0.3% today, but it is catching a green candle. It's these paradise pumps from us going live. And what do you know? Pulse Chain flipped from red to big green. PLS up 4.4%, PLSX up 4.72%, and Hex up 3.5%. We're starting to see this play out. Remember, it was a couple live streams ago. We told you about $4.6 million getting bridged in from Ethereum to Pulse Chain. To my knowledge, none of those funds have been deployed yet into the blue chips. Maybe that's going on right now while we're live, and why it's outperforming Ethereum by 5%. But, good to see this action. This is what we want to continue to see. And, Ethereum still down $12.80 today, down 0.29%. And Pulse Chain just flipped green in a big way. So let's see. Let's see if the trickle-down effect works. Let's see if Pulse Chain can catch up. We need Ethereum to go to 10,000. We need BNB to break 1,000. And, of course, we're still rooting for Solana to have some positive price action, because we do work with some projects on Sol. They haven't really caught a break. We do have some Sol as Crypto Paradise bags. So if this thing can rip higher, obviously that means that our Sol is worth more money, and we can spend more funds on Crypto Paradise, the brand, and the Surf token as well. Maybe a parabolic run here building for Solana. I know you're not a big Solana guy, Nate, but what do you think about this parabolic run that's going? It keeps putting in higher lows, but it's also accelerating at the angle. I mean, is Solana about to run to over $300?
I got nothing against Solana. In fact, I have a nice bag of Solana. I play around in the trenches a little bit, not too much. I'm certainly not full-time, but I have a couple guys, like I mentioned earlier, JXBT and a few others that I follow that make some good calls from time to time. So I certainly dabble in Solana. I think we're all on the same page with Solana where, if you're looking for, real utility coins, that Solana's not the network to be on. Solana's for memes, Solana's for, pump and dumps and making a quick buck and flips. And I know there's a few, big, utility type projects over there, but for the most part, that's not what we're seeing innovate on Solana. It's memes. It's pump and dumps. It's shit coins. And which, as long as we understand it is what it is, like I got no problem with it. I'm not expecting to see, life-changing innovations being made on Solana anytime soon. But yeah, absolutely. I still think Solana's gonna hit $1,000 this cycle. I hope so. I've been slowly, taking the my whole goal with meme coins is to build up a Solana bag and grow my Solana bag. That's been my thesis with meme coins the entire last year and a half. Is I started with a little bag of Solana. I'm just trying to make that grow and grow and grow and grow for when Solana reached $1,000 this cycle. So that's.
We root for Solana. We root for everything. I mean, we want the market to go up. We want people to make money. The only thing about Solana is the trenches and, it's the pump and dumps and no one can hold for more than an hour, which we obviously bemoan that. Nobody likes that. I don't even think the people in Solana like that. They probably wish it was, why can't people here hold for longer? But it's just this mindset of, well, he's going to dump, so I got to dump faster than him. And it's just, it's just like that. So nothing against Solana. We got, we're rooting for this industry just across the board. We hold a lot of coins across a bunch of different chains. So it's in our interest to do that. We got Hex in the house. Let's go, Moon Boys. Obviously, we're bullish on Hex. We're bullish on Pulse Chain. I mean, let's go everything.
Yeah, I mean, this is interesting. I was looking at this chart. I don't look at Solana too often, but yeah, I mean, it continues to put in higher lows, and it is accelerating at the angle at which it is doing it, which means it could be going for a parabolic move. Of course, for Solana to do a parabolic move, you probably need some help from Ethereum, but we did just see BNB went to a new all-time high while the market wasn't doing anything. So let's see if the whales want to pump this. Maybe all the extractors from the Kanye coin will dump it into Solana. Pump Fund will stop selling Solana for a little bit and let this thing run and get back to the 280 to 300 level. That'd be nice. That would also help pump Fuck 9 to 5. That would help pump Dose. That would help pump Dubcat, which are all kind of holding levels here and waiting and seeing what Solana is going to do before they can react to the upside.
I was just going to say, I mean, the thing you got to remember about Solana is there are still, I believe, a lot of VCs that are holding it and it's vesting to them and they're selling it periodically. It's a newer coin than like Ethereum, so it's a more concentrated supply in the hands of the few. And so, yeah, you can have a control essentially, or let's call it influence, heavy influence by those early investors. Where I think Ethereum is a little bit beyond that. Bitcoin maybe a little bit beyond that. So, something to consider there. With the risk as it relates to Sol investment, but man, it's definitely going to run. I don't know if it hits 1,000 this cycle. It'll hit 1,000 maybe the next cycle, in my view, but because that's that's a solid 5x from here. That's a big market cap.
Amaru is so bearish. She's talking about Bitcoin's not getting 1 million for 2 more cycles. Solana's not getting 1,000.
I'm a realist.
Yeah, but I mean, but let's look.
I love to get proven wrong.
You've been here for a while. Now, if the cycle ends in Q4, we're running out of time. But if it extends, you've been here for a while. What is it for Ethereum to do a 5x or Solana to do a 5x? That doesn't, that's not very much. We'll see what happens. Remember Solana earlier this cycle when Germany was selling Bitcoin at $50,000, Solana was like $10. So it's already done a 10x.
Well, I hope it does. I hope it goes. I hope it goes much higher. I just,
The pessimist in the room, Nate. The pessimist is in the room.
Yeah. I guess I got to get onto the beach and get myself a drink. Maybe that's the problem. But now, look, we're rooting for everything. I think it's all going much higher. But look, you're going to have to hold. You're going to have to hold. Everyone's like, oh, it did a 5x, it did a 10x. But did you yourself, Mr. Investor, watching the show, get those kind of gains out, or did you sell at 20%?
I think kind of my final thing is XRP is still floating with the $3 level. If you own XRP and it hits $3, just sell it and rotate it into Ethereum or anything else, please. For the love of God, be a savior of crypto. Use your gains that you may or may not have on XRP, roll it into something else that actually provides benefits to the overall ecosystem. because Ripple and XRP just doesn't. So hopefully that stirs some of you XRP viewers up as well. Comment why I suck.
XRP, the original meme coin, right? No real purpose, but man, a devout cult following. So shout out to XRP maximalists. We are not among them, to be clear. But for everyone who believes in it, go ahead and do you. I think if you're looking for major upside this cycle, Pulse Chain. If you're in terms of L1s, Pulse Chain is staring you in the face. Not even in the top 100 coins in terms of market cap and valuation. Massive upside for Pulse Chain. So.
I'm definitely a hater on XRP, not for the main reason of we've talked many times in here where, Nick, you said, yeah, the number one coin I hear my normie friends talk about is always XRP. They've done such a good job of getting this out there, and props to them on their marketing. But what I don't like about XRP, aside from it being, centralized banker coin, but the influencers on that chain are the most absolutely ridiculous, farcical dudes, and they're gonna get so many people rugged. Like they're these, again, these aren't people that are crypto native, people that are used to the volatility, that are used to the nonsense that goes on in this industry. You've got your taxi, people joke, make the memes about it being like the taxi driver coin and your mom and pop coin. It's like what happened with some of the scams with Cardano in the early days in Japan where it got banned. These people are being told it's gonna go to $10,000 a coin. Like, it's absolutely retarded. Like, it's going to have a bigger market cap than the entire U.S. stock market. Like, it's farcical, the stuff that they're pitching. And but it's not like it's just one or two, random people putting this trope out there for XRP. It's every major XRP influencer. It's every single, mom and pop normie you talk to about XRP. Oh, it's going to go to $1,000 minimum this cycle. Probably more likely $10,000. It's just like these people have been brainwashed, and a lot of people are going to get hurt. A lot of people are going to get burned. Like, that's my biggest issue, and my biggest beef with XRP is that, like, not only is this stuff going on, but it's being encouraged. Meanwhile, you have the founder and his family just straight dumping on people's heads constantly. And it's, again, we talked about this before. It's different when it's the Ethereum Foundation. Obviously, we still don't want the Ethereum Foundation to be dumping on their holders, but the Ethereum Foundation is doing that because they need to pay validators, they need to develop more things. Like, they're actually spending that money within the company. With the founder and his family, the early stage seed investors, they're just straight taking that money and exiting, right? That's not going back into the XRP ecosystem. That's going into their bank account. That's buying them a new yacht. That's getting them a new house in Malibu. Like, it's not helping the ecosystem in any way. So XRP's got a million problems with it, and my biggest beef is with the influencers over there just spitting absolute nonsense that they know is bullshit, and stuffing it down the throat of the normies who are going to get burned.
And they've been doing that successfully for a long time. They have algorithmic timed sells every single month, and it's the founders, it's the family of the founders, it's XLM token is the same thing. Remember, they're involved with XRP and XLM. Essentially, they were competitors doing the same thing, and they're just selling on you every single month. So hey, props out to them. They've created multi-billion-dollar assets that they continue to sell in your head and still produce some gains. XRP did absolutely nothing till earlier this year, but now people are leaning on that, like, oh, XRP did a 5x, Bitcoin hasn't done it, whatever. But they had to wait 8 years for that to happen. But yeah, I don't know. Just not our favorite. Let's just buy things that we talk about. Buy things that we talk about. Sell your XRP bags. All right.
There you go. Yeah, there's plenty of great investments in this crypto ecosystem. I don't believe XRP is one of them, although it is a free world, free country, as they like to say, and you can do whatever you want. For me, Ethereum, Solana, BNB, Pulse Chain, I mean, those are, in terms of like layer one sort of blue chip assets in this industry, those are the ones you want to look at. But yeah, hey, XRP, I guess, is there as a gateway drug, you could say. I mean, there was a time, probably all of us were bullish on XRP. If you came from more of a traditional background and you get shilled like, oh, it's going to sort of bridge the gap between traditional finance and crypto. You don't have to think too much about it. Like, oh, that makes sense. There needs to be something that solves.
Oh, we lost Mario mid-rant there.
Uh-oh.
Oh, he might be...
He might be AFK after that. All good. I think we've kind of covered everything. We got the news articles. We went over the charts, Bitcoin, Ethereum. We saw the Pulse Chain charts. We didn't really go into many small microcap charts today, as none of them are really doing too much, just kind of waiting and seeing what their big brothers are doing. And looks like a lot of gamers might be upset or calling for tariff wars not major news, but PlayStation did say for their game console they raised their MSRP about $20 due to tariffs, but they are not raising the price of games or any accessories, so not really the end of the world here. A $549.99 price tag for the PS5. I believe it was supposed to be like $529.99, so minor increase due to tariffs as they work through global uncertainties and challenging economic environment. A $20 raise of the retail price for PS5 is, to me, is less about tariffs and more about just general inflation, because $20 is what, like 1% increase or something tiny.
Yeah, I don't know. I got a PS5 at home. I'm more concerned about canceling my regular yearly package or whatever that they give you. That thing's horrible.
Oh, the yearly online. They're like, oh, $100 a year to even play your games. It's like, Jesus Christ.
Well, now they've got like these packages where you get access to other games for free and blah blah blah. When I started out, it sounded like a good deal, but the reality is, I bought one game and I only played one game, so I don't need to be paying $120 a year or whatever it is. It's one of those things you forget about, and then all of a sudden it hits your credit card. Like, what the fuck is this? And
yeah, and for you in Vietnam, 120 a year, that's like a month rent. That's like your groceries for the month.
That's my grocery bill going to PlayStation. So I gotta kill that. So.
Well, any other thoughts? Do you have any comments about Bitcoin, Ethereum, any altcoins you're looking at? And if not, we'll wrap this up, and we'll be tuned in here today to see what the stocks want to do today, see what Jerome Powell says today and tomorrow, and hopefully things react to the upside. Are seeing a little bit of a rally for Bitcoin, a little bit of a rally for Coin and Ethereum and some of these other assets.
I'll just say right here, it's always about the mindset. Don't get stuck in this mindset, right? Bitcoin last week at 115K, and then on its way up. Yeah, everybody's cheering, and then dropping back down, hits 115K, and it's doom and gloom. It's the FUD. It's the Sydney Sweeney versus the Caroline.
Caroline.
Always remember.
You should have known.
Perspective, right? Gotta look at the long picture. Don't be so caught up in the waves of FUD and FOMO that go around. You were stoked 2 weeks ago when Bitcoin was ripping through 115. Now that we're back down at 115, it's the end of the world. I don't think so. Rewind not even 2 years. Bitcoin was 15K. Can you imagine how you would feel if it was 115K then, and what you would think, how the euphoria that you'd be feeling. So keep that in mind. All about perspective. Zoom out a little bit and chill.
Edgar there says, wow, Bitcoin went from mid to mid. I mean, if Sydney Sweeney and Caroline are the same, that's pretty wild to me. And the thing is, Sydney Sweeney isn't like the hottest thing ever, but she's popular because she kind of resonates with the average person. You might see a girl that looks like that if you go out, not with her all done up like that, obviously, but when she's not wearing makeup or the swimsuit, whatever, everybody calls her mid. It's like, let's see what your girlfriend or your wife looks like. And also, when you have a lot of wealth, that kind of increases your score as well for men and women. And she's worth millions now with her American Eagle and all these movies and everything else. So if that's mid, man, sheesh, she must be killing the game.
Yeah, I got a feeling that Edgar here has some bigger issues than the fact that he's not dating Sydney Sweeney. So,
but all right, guys,
face.
we'll be live again tomorrow. We have the Spaces again tomorrow. Big days coming ahead these next 2 days. Waiting for what is going on with Jerome Powell. Is he going to hint at any rate cuts? And we're here saying Bitcoin is not topped, Ethereum is not topped, Pulse Chain is not topped. Get your positions, hold your positions, earn that passive income, and I guess we'll see you on the beach when we all get it here in the next few months.
Later.